Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we are in Athens and we are planning to take this beautiful Phoenix A320 in a Wizz livery all the way from Athens to Tirana. It's going to be a relatively short flight with an estimated flight time around 1 hour and 2 minutes. This flight is operated in real life by Wizz, AGN and I believe some other company. The Wizz usually uses Airbus 321 classic option and AGN uses 321 Neo or classic option as well. But today we are going to operate 320 non-sharklet version. Wizz still operates a bunch of these planes, so why not to use it? Okay, let's head to the cockpit and start with the preparation for our flight. Okay, so first things first. Okay, let's move up, and I believe we can leave the IRSs on. Let's check if we have lights set as we want them to be. The strobes are in auto position, beacon is off, wing lights are off, nav logo in one position, all the runway turn-off lights and landing lights are off exactly as we want them to be, and I believe we can turn off the overhead lighting. It's going to be a daytime flight, so I don't expect we'll be using any kind of like overhead lighting. Anyway, no smoking signs can be set to auto, and seatbelt signs can be set to off, and it should be set to off as we haven't refueled the aircraft yet, which means we don't want to put the seatbelt signs on. We'll do it just after we'll finish with refueling. Let's quickly do the APU fire test. Okay, works, and let's go and check the engine fire test as well. Engine 1 and engine 2, perfect. Works like a charm. Alright, so let's move to our tablet and let's download our flight plan. Yeah, okay, so it's 25 to 2 UTC, so let's change the time and let's make it actually, yeah, let's make it 2 p.m. UTC. Okay, let's check the weather. So the weather for our departure, QNH 1020, wind is 210 at 2 knots, few clouds, so 11 degrees Celsius, fairly good weather here in Athens. But let's set the proper QNH once, twice, and let's do it for the third time. Okay, let's head on to the MCDU and then we'll import our flight plan, check the load sheet, and then once we'll be ready we'll start with the boarding. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you'll be able to see a little bit better. I think that should be okay. Okay, so let's check our load sheet for today. Alright, so our call sign today is going to be Wizz Malta 7 Uniform Golf. It's 20th of June 25 and estimated zero fuel weight of 59 tons and 400 kilograms, which is below our maximum zero fuel weight, and with a fuel, so let's go down, and we expect to have 7,500 kilograms of fuel. Okay, we can accept it, and let's start with the preparation of our flight. So request So the call sign is Wizz Malta 7 Uniform Golf, Wizz Malta 7 Uniform Golf. Okay, and I will bring up the tablet as well, so we can actually check. Let's go for sim brief dispatch and let's see our flight. This is our flight for today. Okay, so and preview the briefing. So the cost index is 1.5, so we can insert it 1.5, and we are planned cruise flight level is flight level 320 with temperature of minus 52 degrees, so we can insert it as well. Okay, let's go. So our planned zero fuel weight for today is 59.4 slash, and our zero fuel weight center of gravity is 31.5. No, I want to have 31 point. Come on. Okay, let's do like this. 59. That's interesting. Okay, we can insert it. And once again, I want to have it 31. Okay, 0.5, 31.5. Perfect. With fuel 7,500 kilograms, so we can make it 7. Okay, let's go to our sorry, let's go to our fuel planning. So our reserve fuel is our alternate fuel. It's Fiumicino today, and we need 3 tons of fuel to reach there. That's a lot, and actually quite surprised that this is what our dispatcher chose for our alternate today. But okay, let's leave it as is. Final reserve fuel is 1 ton. It's okay. And route reserve fuel, it's 600 kilograms. Okay. All right, which should give us extra time of around 8 minutes. 24 minutes. Not bad. Seems we should have a lot of extra time for today's flight. I think it will be also a good idea maybe to start with preparation of our radios, and also maybe we can start the boarding as well before we'll head to the flight plan. So once again, let's close our tablet and let's call for the boarding. Mass and balance, yes, and load aircraft. And let's use GSX for boarding and refueling as well.
Refueling truck is on its way.
We can close it. And
please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
Let's go back to setting our MCDU for today's flight. Let's bring up the tablet once again. Okay. And a flight plan today. So I think okay, so departure for runway 21 left, I suppose, and so departure, and I believe it's 1 left with departure Kilo Oscar Romeo 1 November. Let's find it. Yes, here it is, Kilo Oscar Romeo 1
Fuel truck
November.
is in
We
position.
can insert.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives
Seems
and asked to do it.
Seems I haven't selected the best view because I have some difficulties with actually hitting the buttons. Okay, now it works a little bit better. Okay, and in Tirana I expect arrival for ILS runway 17, and the arrival for today is going to be LBAC 3 mic. So let's select it as well. LBAC 3 mic and insert. Okay, let's open our charts so we can. I'm just going to import the flight from SimBrief and open the charts so I can be sure that we have everything set up as desired. Okay, so I'm going to hide it, zoom it in. Kilo Oscar Romeo 1 November for departure. So okay, climb on radial 2 or 3. Well, yes, to Alpha Victor 211, then Alpha Victor 213, direct to Delta Delta Mike, and to Kilo Oscar Romeo. Okay, this is set, perfect. And let's check the arrival as well. However, we can do it later when we'll make sure that runway 17 is in fact the one that we are going to be expecting in Tirana for today's landing. All the way to Intalu, Indal Diesel Volby, okay. Indal Volby, and I assume the next will be on that ILS chart. So let's actually select the approach for add it to route. Okay, we can hide it, yes. Okay, so it's all set up. The next thing we want to do is actually to make sure that we have plan B selected as well, or engine out seat. So I'm going to check quickly what is the engine out seat for Athens. Okay, this one is not really easy one, but it basically tells, let's bring up the chart for Kilo Oscar for our departure, zoom it out. Okay, so it basically tells us that at 8.5 DME from Sierra Papa Alpha VOR we should left turn for track 175 and proceed on a radial 275 to Kilo Echo Alpha, which is not on the chart, and then hold there at 7 DME. So let's go to the secondary flight plan and try to set it up to some extent. So we know that we want to follow. Okay, I'm going to insert a waypoint that I'm going to call engine out SID. I'm going to insert, okay, and this point will be radial 275. Sorry, no, it's going to be Kilo Echo Alpha, so Kilo Echo Alpha at radial 275 and distance of 7 miles, so it's going to be our holding. We don't know how we are going to reach there, but I will open the airport chart. Okay, it's not really helpful because I'm trying to figure out where the Sierra Papa Alpha VOR is located, as I cannot actually see it on this chart. Okay, so what we can do in this case, just to have it set in our navigation set radio, and just remember that we want to turn left, turn the track 175 after departure at 8.5 DME from Sierra Papa Alpha, and then enter holding. So going to our secondary flight plan.
Boarding requested.
Secondary flight plan. I'm just going to insert engine out as It's not really helpful today, is it? Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Maybe it will be a little bit easier to... Yes.
Passengers bus is coming.
So, I'm going to select it here. Delta Mike is actually quite far away. But I believe until Alpha Victor 213 we will be basically continuing via the standard departure. Okay, and we want to hold there, yes, and we can use the computer course. Okay,
bypass pin inserted.
and after holding we will be coming back to Athens, so we can insert Athens as a new destination, and for ILS on runway 21 right. So let's select the arrival.
Passengers boarding starting.
And we'll be using ILS X-ray for runway 21 right with no star and no via. Basically straight in approach, or let's hope there will be some radar vectors available as well. Okay, let's go back to our secondary flight plan. Okay, looks as expected. And on the radio, I don't want to have a Delta mic because this is our standard route. What I do want to have is Sierra Papa Alpha, which has the frequency 117.5. Okay, we don't want to select any particular course, so at 8.5 DME from Sierra Papa Alpha we are going to make a left turn for a track 175, and then we'll proceed to our holding point that we have selected in our secondary flight plan and hold there, and then we'll run a prepared checklist. Okay, so we should be all set. The boarding is in progress, so I think it will be a good time to actually... No, we are not set yet. The last thing we want to do is check what is going to be our initial altitude. Nothing here. Nothing here. Let's zoom it in. Climb, direct. There is nothing here on the chart, so let's select 6,000 feet as our initial climb altitude. It should be quite okay. Okay. Now, the boarding is in progress. Still around 70 passengers need to board the plane, so it will take us a while, and then we need to wait for our cargo to be loaded as well. Let's wait for the boarding to complete, and once the boarding will be completed, we'll run the checklist and we should be
Passengers bus is coming.
ready to go. In the meantime, we see that our refueling was completed, so we can turn on our seatbelt signs to on. Okay, they are on, and I think it's also a good idea to start the APU since the boarding is in progress. Well, it's not really hot outside today. Yeah, but it's going to get warmer with boarding of the passengers, so I think it will be really a good idea to start the APU. So our passengers can get a little bit more comfortable.
Passengers boarding started.
Let's check the... okay, so we have radio set on one for the Unicom frequency, because the flight I'm going to be flying on VATSIM, and I believe there is no... yes, there is no online ATC available, so we'll be using Unicom. We can use the standard transponder code here as well. All good here. So I think it's a good idea to do the cockpit preparation checklist. So gear pins and covers, they are removed. Fuel quantity, we have 7,500 kilograms on board, and let's verify it with our flight plan. And we want to have 7,540 kilograms on board. So this is all good and set. Seatbelt signs can go to on, and they are on. And bar ref is 1020. So this is the cockpit preparation checklist completed. Last thing, we should check ADIRs, they are in enough position, and our navigation is actually...
Welcome on board.
Our required accuracy is high and is within the required range, so we are good here. Let's wait for the boarding, because as you can see, I mean, we are using the stairs for boarding, so it speeds up the boarding a little bit, and once the boarding will be completed, we'll do our departure calculations, and then before start checklist, and we'll basically take it from there. APU is available, so we can disconnect the external power. And wait a little bit, just wait a little bit longer for the boarding to be completed. Okay. As you can see, the boarding has been almost completed. Yes, the boarding is completed. Perfect. So let's go and do the departure performance. So let's make sure that we have our final load sheet, and we have synchronized the weather. We will be using full length for departure today, but let's make sure that there were no changes to the load sheet. So compliance, yeah, 0 fuel weight 5. Well, actually I need to zoom in because I'm not sure. Okay, 59.4, pax 170, so exactly as planned, fuel as planned, all good here. So we can go back to our departure preparation. So we have synchronized the load sheet, we have synchronized the weather, and we can do the calculations. So V1 154, flaps 1 down 02, flex temp 70 degrees, transition 9000, thrust reduction, engine out. I believe the engine out altitude was a little bit different. Yes, it should be 1900 feet, so we are going to select that. Okay, send to MACD. Let's go here to MACD. 1454, 154, 155, 1, but I want to change it to 1900. Okay, now we are all set and good to go. So with that out of the way, we can do the before start checklist and prepare for pushback and starting of the engine. Okay, so
Locking gear.
we don't want to interrupt the pushback. Before start checklist, parking brake is set, ECAM status checked, and windows are closed on both sides, and beacon is on. Okay, let's wait for the pushback tag to be connected, and then, well, actually we are now being elevated, so the pushback was already connected. Let's make sure there is no traffic. I will close it for the time being. Just wanted to make sure that there was no traffic behind us. There was no traffic behind us, and I want to push to the east on a taxiway. Let's bring up the chart actually, or maybe let's zoom it in a little bit, or yeah, I will just open the chart and it will be easier. Okay, so we want to push back tail to the left, nose to the right on a taxiway Golf, and we want to be facing east. So let's go to the GSX and continue pushback. Come on, yes, we want to be facing east.
Release parking brakes, please.
Okay, let's go to the tablet. Release the parking brakes.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Before starting the engines, let's make sure that the engines are actually have cleared the red line and we can start them safely. So we need to wait a little bit. Sorry for it, I'm going to reset the view and I'm going actually to turn on the Tobii Eye tracker, which helps me with dealing with this kind of situation. Okay, yeah, we can, okay. So starting engine 2. I haven't turned on the fuel pumps, so it wouldn't be, and I haven't turned on the APU bleed as well, which I should have done earlier. Okay. Now I can start the engines. And nothing is happening. Okay, let's start again. Okay, now we have positive N2. The AGT is increasing, N2 is increasing as well. Okay, we have N1.
Please set parking brakes.
N1 is
Unlocking
increasing.
gear.
Okay, and we can hear actually that the engine is starting. As you can see, I'm using the DLSS for anti-aliasing, and that's why the numbers are blurry from time to time. They were supposed to fix it with the latest release of DLSS and latest update to Flight Simulator 2024. I had used the DLS swapper and have swapped the DLS version and updated it to the latest one,
Left is clear.
but
Right
I'm
is
not
clear.
on the beta version of simulator, so I guess I will need to wait before it's going to be official update, and then we'll let you know, have it improved really. Okay, engine 2 is started, so we can start engine 1. So starting engine 1, again N2, EGT is increasing. Okay, engine 1 is available, so we can go with the after start flow. So let's start from the top. We can turn off the APU bleed, we can turn off the APU master switch. Now let's move down a little bit, so we want to make sure that this is in normal position, and 1 down 02, so we want to select it as well. Down 02, okay, and I'm going to switch it off, and we want to turn on the predicted wind chill warning, which is here. Okay, and standby, transponder to standby. Okay, actually to auto and on. Okay, so flaps setting, config 1 plus F, so we want to do it as well, and we want to make sure that, okay, let's make the after start, let's run the after start checklist. So anti-ice is off, econ status checked, pitch trim, let's move to the left, so it's around 29%, and it's okay, it should be like this, and rudder trim is neutral. Okay, so let's bring up the chart. Okay, we are here on taxi Golf, so let's taxi straight ahead, delta all the way to holding point delta 12 for runway 21 left. Okay, I'm going to turn on the Tobii tracker once again. It's easier for me to taxi this way. So parking brakes are off, runway turn-off lights on, taxi lights on. We are clear on the left, clear on the right, and we should be rolling. We are actually rolling on idle power. So brakes check, pressure 0. Okay. I'm going to make the flight controls check and the further checks as soon as we are going to turn left onto Delta. It's going to be a relatively long taxi, so we have plenty of time. We don't need to rush it. There's no point in doing it. Okay, just wanted to increase the thrust for a while to make sure we'll start rolling a little bit faster, and we did. So clear on the right and clear on the left. There is not much online traffic as well, that's why I'm not making the announcement on Unicom. I will, however, do one before we are going to line up the runway. Just make sure that we haven't missed anything. But as you can see, when we are taxiing, there is not much traffic, so I just don't want to occupy the frequency when there is no need to do it. I will probably need, I mean, in a real life it will be quite difficult to imagine that you will be taxiing airline on the airport when there is no ATC service, at least in Europe. It will be a different story with some general aviation airports and general aviation traffic. Okay, we can turn and let's make the flight controls check. So full up, all right, full down, perfect, full left, full right. Okay, let's and let's check the rudder. So left, all right, and let's answer the call from our cabin.
The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Thank you. So we can reset it, and there was one thing I forgot to turn on, and was the clock. We should do it just before starting our taxi. Let's make the takeoff. Okay. So I think we can do the taxi checklist. So flight controls checked, flap setting config 1 plus F, radar and predicted wing shear warning on and auto, engine mode selector normal, and ECAM takeoff no blue. So taxi checklist is completed. Beautiful weather here in Athens, clear sky, and I guess the temperature during the day was nice as well, so let's go back to our center line. I got distracted, but we need to be aware of our wingtip clearance, so we should always taxi actually on the taxi center line. I will slow down a little bit because we are taxiing quite fast now, and okay, that should be enough. I don't want to overheat the brakes, and so I don't want to use them a lot. However, the brake temperature is still really low with just 20 degrees, so we should be good to go. I will make the announcement just to make sure that the guy knows that we are not taxiing for his taxiway. Athena traffic, Wizz Malta 7 Uniform Golf taxiing via Delta to hold you point runway 21 left. So just to make the guy aware that we know that he will be landing on 21 right, and it's not our intention to go for this runway. Just for his peace of mind, this is something that I would appreciate from when flying online from the traffic at the airport, with 2 runways, one being used for departures and the other one being used for arrivals, because it sometimes happens on some of the airport that even though you can always go online, check on flight radar what a runway is actually in use for departures and arrivals, there will be always someone who is making his own choices and not really adding to the immersion of the experience, if you know what I mean. But yeah, okay, it is what it is, so we need to live with that. Okay, the cabin is ready. And we are approaching. Yes, we are approaching. So the next one to the right is Delta 12. So the taxiway that we want to take. So I'm going to slow down now. Okay, I will start slowing down. We're doing almost 30 knots and it's definitely too fast to take this turn. We should have around 10 knots. Okay, 12, and I'm going to slow down a little bit more just before the turn, before we'll commence the turn. Okay, and once more. So 12, 10, 9. Okay. So we are turning right. I'm not sure why I'm getting all the lovely stutters here today, but yeah. Okay, we can do the lineup check. Preparation. Let's make the announcement. So, Athena traffic, Wizz Malta 7 uniform, lineup runway is 21 left. So we can go on with landing lights. And let's turn the pucks 1 and 2. Okay, clear on the approach. Okay, and the last thing is tickets. Okay. Alright, so we can turn right. So, lineup checklist. Takeoff runway 21 left confirmed. Packs 1 and 2 are off. And TCAS is TA. Alright, we are good to go. Okay, so let's increase the power, start the chrono. Manflex 70 SRS runway nav blue. V1 rotate. Okay, positive rate, gear up. Okay, flap 0, speed checked. Flaps 0. And we can turn on autopilot 1. Okay. Let's turn on the pucks. So pucks 1 and 2. On, we can turn off the runway turn-off lights and nose lights as well. And we haven't set the strobes to on. This is something that we have actually missed during our lineup checklist. Okay, lovely departure here in Athens. Beautiful view. I really love it. I mean, it looks kind of cool, right? So the city should be somewhere there on the right hand side. We will be turning right, so we should have some view over the city. Okay, I think we can select our... Let's go for a flight level 200 for the time being. The transition altitude was 9,000 feet, so we still have some time. We can disarm the ground spoilers. And I will turn off the Tobii tracker because it does make no sense to have it at this point. I found it really useful for I find it really useful for like departures, like takeoff and landings and approaches, especially like visual approaches. It helps a lot, but for like setup and preparation of the flight, or for example like on a cruising altitude, it's not so useful. Okay, passing now 9,000, so we can select the standard one. So we have standard once, twice and 3 set. Okay. And we are approaching flight. We are passing flight level 100, so we can turn off the landing lights. And we should select the guard frequency on the... Yes, okay, it's set. Perfect. And I think we can release the passengers. There are no clouds and there will be some turns, but so we can release the passengers already. So seatbelts off. Okay. And I will select our final cruise flight level, which was flight level 320 for today. And since, to being completely honest, there will be not much going on from now on until preparation for the departure, I will just get back to you when we'll be preparing for our, sorry, not departure, but for our arrival in Tirana. Hello, welcome back. Now we are approaching our top of descent. As you can see here, we are around 18 nautical miles from our top of descent, so 74 to be exact. And it's the highest time that we should actually start preparing for our arrival in Tirana. So let's check the weather just to make sure. I want to do it, and I want the weather. Here, weather request. Lima Alpha Tango, India. It's our destination airport. It is Tirana, and I want to have the METAR. Send. I will open the message. Weather data. Okay, so Tirana, wind variable 2 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Scatter clouds are 4,000 feet overcast, 8,400, and QNH 1015. So it shouldn't actually. Weather is quite. I mean, it shouldn't obstruct our visibility during landing. Weather is quite good for landing. Anyway, let's prepare for landing. So, performance and next phase and next phase approach. So QNH was 1015. Okay. Temperature was 15 degrees Celsius and weather was variable 2 knots. We can just insert it like this. Transition level, well, I believe will be closer to 11,000 as the transition altitude is 10,000, and minimums. So we have here ILS runway 17 and the minimums are 355 feet. I'm just going to make sure that this is the correct ILS chart that we will be using. So, and Volby, but let's go to our, because this one requires actually holding over VOR, or okay, this is the initial fix as well. Okay, so we can use it. Climb straight ahead 3,000, turn right. Okay, done. Alright, let's see if we have any other approaches available actually. No, so this is the only one. Okay, we will use it. And our minimums for today 355 feet. So 355. Bye. Okay. So for the approach briefing, ILS approach for runway 17. In terms of threats, definitely the terrain is a threat today. As we can see, we have quite significant terrain on the left-hand side of the airport, or actually, so we'll be flying south, so on the east from the airport, with an MSA of 9,500. So we are flying in the daytime, and the weather is quite okay. But however, there was like overcast at 8,400, so it is below the MSA. So we need to make sure that we are not drifting to the left from the localizer, and then that we are strictly following the MIS approach, which is at 8 nautical miles from Team Tango Romeo November. Richard 1500 and turn right on the track 236 to follow radial 196 from Tirana to join holding at Talu. Let's make sure that we have Talu. Yes, okay. This is, yes, so this is selected, so it should put us away from the, it should has put us away from, yeah, so the holding is over the sea, so far away from the terrain. Okay, very good. Other than that, I don't have any special, and when it comes to the airport, landing on runway 17 will be using brakes low, and I expect we'll vacate via Charlie, then turn right, and our stand will be somewhere, I don't want to select a holding pattern, somewhere over here. Okay, past the terminal. I mean, I don't expect Wizz to be standing at the terminal in Tirana. So other than that, I believe we are good to go. Any questions, comments or concerns? Not today. Let's set the lower altitude, so I will start with a flight level 200. I believe there is no, yes, there is no online ATC available in Tirana as well, so even though we're flying on VATSIM, we are expecting, we are going to follow the full star, especially taking into account the terrain. I'm not going to make any shortcuts, just to make sure that I'm away from the terrain, and when I will be closer to the airport, I will just check is there any online traffic at the airport, and of course we'll be making proper notification and usage of Unicom as well. So a couple more minutes before we will reach our top of descent. So we expect our top of descent 20 miles, so around 3 minutes from now. Total flight time up to now, it's 41 minutes, so it's fairly a short flight, short hop from Athens to Tirana. Some nice view all the way, mountains and sea. It really looks beautiful. Okay. I'm quite curious to see how the weather will look like in Tirana. I mean, as you can see in the weather forecast, or actually the weather observation, because it's matter, there's some overcast over Tirana, and I believe we can slowly see the overcast layer of clouds appearing here on the horizon. I'm really looking forward to see how the new flight simulator will draw the weather there, because my impression is that in 2020 it wasn't working in the best possible manner. But I'm quite curious to hear your comments on it. I mean, feel free to leave a comment here. Okay, we are slowly getting closer to the top of descent, just 3 miles, so not really far away. Two. One. And okay, we can start the descent here. I love how with the DLSS their altimeter is like gets blurry and you are not able, okay, you are able to read the flight level and the hundreds of feet, so it's still quite okay. I mean, I don't really need to use the 10 of feet here, so it doesn't really bother me, but it looks strange. But the truth is that DLS really improves the performance for me. I don't have the most powerful GPU, it's just 4070 Ti, and I'm using 4K, so that's probably, I mean, I should be probably using 4080, but it is what it is. I'm quite curious. I'm looking forward actually to the new generations of the GPU, and I'm thinking of upgrading to 5080, but before doing it, I believe I will see some benchmarks and some reviews online to see if it's like really worth it, or maybe it will be still good to go with some 4080. We'll see. Okay, passing flight level 280. It should be quite straight arrival, just extended downwind, probably to lose the height a little bit, and then turn for base and final for a landing at runway 17 in Tirana. I haven't been to Tirana yet in real life. I do want to visit Albania. I've heard a lot of good things about Albania, especially the coast. So if someone of you have been there, feel free to leave a comment. I've been to Montenegro, Croatia, Serbia, and some other countries in the Balkans as well, but never been to Albania yet. But if the landscape is similar to what I've seen in Croatia, or especially or in Montenegro, I do believe it's really worth to visit Albania sometime. It's definitely on my bucket list still. Okay, passing flight level 250, and we have selected flight level 200, so still a couple of minutes. To check something, cause okay, 4,000 feet at and we have no, I will make it a sharp, not 4,000 or above, but I will make it a 4,000, just to make sure that we are not too high on a profile. As you can see, it has increased our descent angle a little bit, but it's better to do it now where we still have some possibilities to extend the speed brakes, slow down, or increase our rate of descent, because then later at the initial fix it's going to be quite difficult to do. And I remember from experience, like I said, I had never been to Tirana in real life, but I've been there a couple of times in a flight simulator, and usually I ended up a little bit too high, or even when there was like online ATC, they were like when they put you like higher than 4,000, not here at Volby, you had some really difficult time with slowing down the plane and keeping it on a profile. But it looks beautiful. I mean, the mountains, the sea, you couldn't probably ask for more. Okay, so the airport should be somewhere on our right hand side. Let's put the constraints here, and maybe here or here. This might be the airport actually. Soon we are going to find out. Okay, now we can turn it off because the route is going to be overlapping anyway. Okay, passing 8. I will turn on the seatbelt signs to on, just to give time for our lovely cabin crew to prepare for arrival, to prepare the cabin for arrival. Wow, it looks really spectacular. I mean, I really love this kind of view, so definitely, as you can see, definitely probably Albania is the place to visit. Okay, let's check the constraints. 4,000 or more, almost 7,000, so we can put Put it down all the way to 4,000. Yeah, this is the airport. It doesn't really look like overcast, does it? So maybe the clouds have drifted away from the airport during our approach. And let's see what we have here actually in the weather, because maybe there is some difference. Okay, my flight. Arrival. Okay, scatter 4000, broken 100. It looks a little bit similar, and the QNH of 1014. And now the big question is 1015. Let's refresh it. Maybe it was okay. It's 1015 scatter for slight rain. 110 at 4. Okay. Even with a wet runway, we should be okay with a low settings on our brakes. We want to vacate the runway at the end. It's 2000, almost 2800 meters, so should be more than enough, even if it's going to get wet. We'll see. Okay, so let's set the QNH, which is 1015, 1015, once, twice, and okay. Approaching 10,000, we can select the landing lights on, and we can detune the guard frequency. Okay, and I think we can run the approach checklist. Okay, so bar reference is 1015, that is checked. Seatbelts are on. Minimums were 355 feet. Auto brake is low set, and engine mode selector is normal, and this is the approach checklist complete. And the missed approach altitude was climb 3000 and yes, 3000. Okay. Okay, this is good. Looking good. I will turn on the Tobii eye tracker as soon as we are going to turn final. It should be easier for me this way, fly the approach. I don't really like the stutters. I hope they still will allow me to make a smooth landing here in Tirana, but we will see. We are quite fast, I would say. I think, you know what, I will use the speed brakes and slow down a little bit, because I don't really like, in my opinion, yeah, we were too fast.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for landing.
Perfect. Okay, we don't need to use the engine interface, but I don't really appreciate the fact that we are... Okay, I'll extend the full speed brake and try to slow down the plane. I mean, we are doing 280 knots. It's really, really too fast. Let's see, are we able to make any kind of approach out of it? Okay, we are descending below the glide path. Okay, and we are turning final, but we are really, really fast. It's not the best initial approach, I would say. Okay, turning the localizer. As soon as we are going to pass the orange dot, we are going to extend the flaps and try to slow down the plane. It should help to some extent. Okay. One, and let's select 160. No, we don't want to. Yes, okay. Okay, it should be all right. Flaps 2, speed check, flaps 2. Okay. We should be okay. And gear down. That's 500. And we can select. Okay, this approach is selected. Flaps 3, speed checked. Okay. Well, the weather is far away from the METAR. I mean, it's no broken sky. No chances, not even close to it. Okay, once we are going to get closer to 4 DME, we'll slow down all the way to our final approach speed and run the landing checklist as well. So it was not the best beginning of the approach, but now we are quite well stabilized. Okay, 4 miles, flaps full speed checked. Landing checklist. ECA memo, landing no blue. And the lights are extended. Okay. I'm going to continue on autopilot and disconnect the autopilot.
1000.
Okay. Checked 1000 and we are stable. And I'm going to disconnect the autopilot somewhere around 500 feet. The wind is almost in line with the runway,
500.
so it should help us. No crosswind, it should make our life a little bit easier on landing. Unless I'm not going to mess up the landing.
100 above.
Okay, we are a little bit below the localizer, correcting.
Minimum.
Continue. And I'm correcting for the glide slope, sorry, not for the localizer.
100.
Yeah. Okay.
Light slope.
30. 20. Retard. Retard.
It's strange because we are below the glide slope and we still ended up like touchdown quite late. Okay, why there was all reverses? And I'm not sure why there was only one reverse. Then let's make the manual braking because we want to actually vacate into Sierra. Ugh. And now you can tell that yes, this is what we want to do. Okay, we have slowed down, so let's make sure that okay. And we can set the TCAS to standby as well and turn off the predicted windshield warning. Okay. Sorry for I know I was veering to the left during the landing, but I've got the impression that something just went wrong with the calibration of my brakes axis, because I was correcting with the right pedal and still was veering to the left, and as you can see the temperature is increasing faster on the left brake, so probably that was the reason. Okay, we want to taxi there and pick up some nice stand. Lovely starters, really love it. And after landing checklist, radar and predicted windshield warning is off. Okay, and it's off. Let's check lights. Strobe lights is off. Beacon is on. Okay, on taxi and they're off. Okay, perfect. I know you haven't seen how I'm actually configuring the lights after the landing, but I have them binded to the buttons on my joystick. It makes my life a little bit easier because there's a lot of things to do and a lot of workload when vacating the runway, especially when flying on VANSIM and there's like ATC available as well, so then you need to turn off the lights, disarm the auto spoilers, find the chart for the taxi, switch to the correct frequency, connect with the ground if the ground is available, if there is like online ATC. So whatever I can do to reduce the workload, I'm just doing it. Okay, let's find the chart. Actually, let's call for the GSX and walk-in bus. Yes, that's perfect. Okay, walk-in is going to be close to the terminal, but as we said, we don't expect Wizz to be standing close to the terminal, so let's take ramp number 7. Handling by Wizz. Yeah, okay. So ramp, I guess it will be, we need to pass the terminal and it should be somewhere on the left hand side. And we will be using GPU for our arrival. So let's make sure that we are not going to switch off the engines before the GPU will be connected. trying to figure out where this shadow is. Okay, now so we are approaching the ramp. I will slow down because we are definitely taxing a little bit too fast. Okay, this is T1 and we have selected T6, so okay, it's going to be over there. So we still have some time. Let's slow down. Okay, let's slow down all the way to the 10 knots. It will make... I don't see... Okay. Okay, here's the marshaller. Okay, so let's turn off the light. And slow down. And here it is. It's not really the best taxi. I didn't want to stop here. Just wanted to make sure that I'm picking the correct stand. This the GS. Okay. It's strange, but okay. Let's just focus here. Slow down. Yep. Okay, almost there. Okay. All right. Parking brake is set. So let's make sure that we are going to connect ground services. And let's connect the chocks and GPU. Okay. GPU is available. Alright, now we can cut the engines. I'm going to deselect this. Cabin crew disarm, slice and cross check. And we can turn off the seatbelt signs off, and let's wait for the N2 to this. Okay, and we can turn the beacon off.
The boarding requested.
Okay, the boarding is in progress, and let's make and fuel pumps. This is the last thing remaining on our list, and then we can do okay. Parking checklist. Parking brakes and chocks are set. Engines are off. Wing lights are off, and the fuel are off. So this is the parking checklist complete. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the flying today's flight to Tirana. It was a fairly short flight, 1 hour 4 minutes in the air and 1 hour 17 minutes total block time. There were a couple of things I could do better, so I forgot to turn on the strobe light when turning onto the runway in Athens, and then the approach, the initial approach in Tirana wasn't the best either. Yeah, but it's all flight simulation, so I'm trying to fly as real as it gets. Sometimes you have some glitches. I mean, in real life the brakes will be working much better than mine, and I wouldn't be veering so much to the left. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Please feel free to leave a comment, and if you would like to see any other flights, any other planes, just please do let me know in the comment section. Thanks again for watching and see you next time.